Hey, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahshai, by Hashem, Kahal Kodash. That belongs to the Apostle Nels, Great Millstone, peace and blessing to you brothers, pushing this truth throughout the four winds in sincerity and truth. You can see this video is going to be entitled Dealing with the Mind. You know, we mainly, throughout everything we go through, we fight everything mentally. And it's played out physically, but the fight we fight is really mental. You know what I'm saying? It's the thoughts that go into what we have to deal with on the physical aspect. But when we can conquer the physical side by conquering the mind through the spirit, and we basically, it helps to walk. You know, it helps the walk to be a lot smoother. Understanding that mind is everything, you know, dealing with what you're going to deal with in a sense of, you know what I'm saying, the physical side of it, you know, because we basically play out everything through what we see. And when we see something, it brings forth feeling, emotion. When something's basically we're going through can be or put us to a spot of we're being endangered. You know, like let's say if a bill is due and if you can't pay that bill, the consequences behind it. These are all things that plague the mind, but you know, physically it will play out. So it's like they coexist, but they're very different. Right. This is Sirach 6:37. Let thy mind be upon the ordinance of the Lord, and meditate continually in the commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. So key things in this verse is the ordinances of the Lord. Okay. This is something that's the order. Okay. Doing everything here, it plays out physically, but it starts mentally, okay? You gotta lock in and focus on the task at hand and not get sidetracked by the physical side of what it brings, okay? That's why it says meditate continually, okay? What do you meditate? What do you do? That's in your mind, okay? Once you lock into your mind, you detach everything from the physical aspect. You know, we're living sacrifices. So being a living sacrifice, you sacrifice everything physically, things you may want to do, things you may want to pursue. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand everything is temporal. Okay? It says, he shall establish thine heart. Once you lock in and focus, the Lord's going to walk for you and give the wisdom at thine own desire. What did King Solomon seek after and ask for when he could ask for all the women, all of his heart's desires, things he wanted? But he wanted knowledge and understanding, because you understand through knowledge and understanding you can control that physical side. But the Lord gave him all things, you know. And what was his fall? Something physical. Women. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand and control everything mentally. That's where we're locking in at. This is Sirach 18:30. Go not after thy lust. What do you lust at? Lust means strong desire. Where do you have strong desires at? In your mind. Where do they play out? Physically. But refrain thyself from thine appetites. You know, you'll look into this world and your mind will lock in on something and physically you want it. You know, physically you want it, but your mind locked in first. That's why the previous verse, it tells you to Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord. So you're always going to control and be in control in everything mentally, but it just depends on what side of that walk you want to go on. Do you want to go on the physical side of that walk or the spiritual side of that walk? The spiritual side ties you to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The physical side ties you to the things of this world and the pleasures of the flesh and what you really want. Okay? That's why it says we're living sacrifices. You got to sacrifice one side. I'd rather you be hot or cold, but not lukewarm. So you have to pick a side. You want that side to be spiritual, not physical. Okay? But the mind is going to drive you to one side or the other. You have to be on one side. Okay? Sirach 30 and 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. So, giving yourself over to the heaviness, you don't want to flood yourself with, I gotta have this car. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get this car. And you're flooding yourself and overworking yourself to get this car. Okay? Your mind is already tied in to the wrong side, first of all. And that heaviness puts you in a space to where you're willing to do any and everything, and that's not what you want to do. So put yourself in a proper place to where the move that's made, it goes to the right side through Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? Sirach 37 and 16. Let reason go before every enterprise. So what are you doing? Before you put that heaviness and thinking about that car, what does it tell you to do? Let reason. Where are you reasoning at? Your mind. You're reasoning with understanding that I have to lock in on this side of the spiritual that ties me to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, not the side that locks me into this physical body to where I want to be in a place of just pleasing this flesh always. There's nothing wrong with having good things and having a nice car, having a nice car and a nice home. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to get so overwhelmed and tied into it to where your spirit actually goes to that side of pleasing it to a level of, I have to be like that. You know what I'm saying? In hindsight, really learn to be in a place of being content to where when you have a nice home, okay, cool. You have a nice car too, cool. But don't let it drive you to where you want to be a multimillionaire, because that can take you off of the walk that the Lord wants you on. Okay, so lean that spirit back more towards the Lord and let it balance the way it needs to balance when it goes to things of the physical. That's why it tells you basically to lock into me, and I'm going to give you everything else. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else should be given to you. So I'm saying it's going to balance and play out the way it needs to. Okay? James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally. That means basically liberally is faithfully, reasonably. It's going to be sufficient. It's going to be real. Okay? And unbraideth not. Okay? So basically stand on it. You ask for it, stand on it. Okay? So lock into it and be about what you're asking for, and it shall be given him. But you have to stand on it and believe it. Okay? Stand on your word. But let him ask in faith. Where does all of these things take place? In the mind. Okay? Not wavering, because when you pray, you want to pray with faith and not waver of disbelief or, man, it's not going to happen. No, you have to pray and stand 10 toes down on it. Okay? For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. So you're back and forth. You're worrying, you're praying about something, but you're still worrying about the problem. You're praying for it, you're trying to believe, but you're worrying about the problem. Don't waver. Let the Lord handle it, okay? Because he already told you that he was going to give it to all men liberally, okay? It says, for let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. So if you're going to pray and have doubt when you pray, Lord ain't going to give you nothing. So you got to stand on what you pray for and believe on what you pray for. Okay, stand on it. All right? This is Proverbs 4:23. Keep thy heart, thy mind, with all diligence. So when you keep in your mind, what your understanding is, you're walking on that spiritual side. Okay? Out of it are the issues of life. And that's when I was speaking earlier on. You have two roads to walk when it comes to your mind. When you keep it spiritual, you're keeping it with all diligence, with understanding. Okay? But if you go to the other side, those issues of life, they'll start weighing you down because you're trying to live like the Joneses or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's not nothing wrong with wanting to have nice things. You know what I'm saying? But you just can't get flooded with that mentality. Okay? Colossians 3:2. Set your affections on things above, not on things of the earth. Affections. Where's this played out at? In the mind. Your mind sees it first, and there's two ways to go when your mind sees it. Your mind is going to think like, hey, I'm a man of the Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and I know I shouldn't be looking at that way, you know. Or, you know what I'm saying, not on things of the earth. So it gave you another road to take. That other road you can take is setting your mind on things of the earth. That's when you take the road of, let me please this flesh, and go and do and like buy things that is fulfilling to the flesh more than the spiritual side of it. See, it's good to have and be on this walk to where you balance it out. You want your everything solely to be spiritual, but every now and then you may see a car you want. You may see something you want to make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? And like you can see, like, let's say a blazer in a store or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, you buy it. It's good to do that because it balances you out. But what you don't want to do is get caught in a place to where that left-hand side overrules that right-hand side that ties you directly to the spirit and basically serving the Lord more than anything. Okay? It says, for ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach, hidden with Hamashiach in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'll just say that. Okay. So the thing now is understanding when it says, for you are dead. You've died to that path in your mind, those two streets you walk on to get to the right side that follows Yahweh Shem Yahushua away, and the left side. You know, you're supposed to be dead to that left side. Okay? Dead meaning if you get something that's good on that side, cool. But you're not living in that zone to where it has to be everything on the left-hand side. You know what I'm saying? So you have to basically be in a spot to where you understand blessings are going to come as well. Okay, so you're going to get things, but don't live there. Be dead to the world. And when things present themselves to you, like blessings come and it's from on that physical side, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But you know you don't live there. That's not where you reside. Everything with you is set solely on pleasing Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? This is Psalms 112:7. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. Okay? So tidings is basically reports, news, rumors, news, tidings mentioned. So in that time when things present themselves and you get blackballed, or us for what we believe in, we get blackballed to where we're public enemy number one. Okay? His heart is fixed. So the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, their hearts are going to be set on that right-hand side of those two roads that I was speaking on. So when it says we're dead to the world, go back here, it says, for you are dead. That's what it means when it says we are fixed. We're fixed on pleasing the Lord. That's why it says the next sentence says, fixed, trusting in the Lord. So it's already set up that we were going to walk on that path that's on the right-hand side, following Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, and not that other path on the left-hand side that basically want to please and live like the people of the world. Okay. This is Isaiah 26:3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Okay? So when you follow Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and you do what you're supposed to be doing, the Lord, he's looking at that. Okay? And it says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace. Why? Because you're walking on this side and the Lord knows what we have to go through and what we're going through. So he's not going to let you bug out. You know, he's not going to have you in a panicking situation because you're trusting in him, and he's going to do what he needs to do to keep your mind at ease because your mind was set on choosing him first versus what you see in the world. That's why the living sacrifice part and you being a sacrifice, this is what that's all about. Okay? That's going to keep your mind at peace so you won't bug out when you see things that everyone else is going to be bugging out behind. Okay? It says, whose mind is stayed on thee because he trusteth in thee. We trust the Lord. That's why we're staying on that side, and he's bringing us to a place of trusting him and being at ease, at peace. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is Isaiah 40:10. Fear thou not. Where do you fear at? Your mind. It's the first place that fear goes to. For I am with thee, be not dismayed. Okay? For I am thy power, I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. So, no matter what, when your mind is set in and locked in on the Lord on that side, you good to go. You know what I'm saying? Okay, with that, I want to say shalom.